Welcome to Power Movers, the podcast where we empower business owners and entrepreneurs to reclaim their time, master their systems, and live the life they love. From leveraging AI to implementing business operating systems that bring clarity and focus, to exploring the transformative power of wellness practices like breathwork, meditation, and cold exposure, we cover it all. We'll dive into the tough conversations about mental health, share practical tools to help you harness the power of your mind and your body so you can feel better, perform better, and achieve more. Join me, Roy, as we uncover strategies, share inspiring stories, and explore the tools that will help you move your business and your life to the next level. So I'm here with Amuary, and Amuary is somebody who lives the life that we all should aspire to live, living the life you love and all that. Amuary is a freediver, he's a paraglider, he does wind tunnel coaching, but he's also a businessman, and he's had the challenges that so many businessmen have, with working in high-end corporate, getting too stressed out with that, and then going and actually deciding there's more important things in life. So welcome, Amuary. Welcome to Power Movers, and very happy to talk to you.
Yes, happy to talk to you, Roy.
Very
happy to see you.
Yeah. So we've been friends for a while, and Amuary taught me freediving, which is amazing, just so good for the brain. Let's go back. Let's go back to early Amuary, early childhood, and just tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what was formative in those days.
Okay, how early you want to go? You want to go early 10 years old, early 5 years old, early 20 years old?
Let's just go for teenage years, because I'm sure you were quite a
Teenagers.
nightmare.
Okay. Oh, teenagers, interesting time, very interesting time. So basically, I had a lot of trouble at school, let's say, because I got expelled from maybe 6 or 7 different schools between the age of 11 and 16. Pretty hyperactive, diagnosed with a lot of things they say with many letters right now, ADHD, HP, whatever they can say. And so bouncing from one school to another. On the private life, I was competing for quad nationals and European championships, fully sponsored by Yamaha first and then Kawasaki. So going full on the quad bike and going a really hard time at school. So that's pretty much my teenagehood. Let's say at home, it was sometimes very awesome with my father because we were doing quad bike together for my first job. Project manager. I was working for brands like Cartier or Montblanc. Then took workshop manager, then production manager. Went to another brand like Rolex, business manager there. So I was, let's say, full on committing on the kind of what society push to be the good life, like a good job. I had a girlfriend. Say again?
The corporate world, get into the
Yeah,
corporate
exactly.
world.
And like the idea of having a good job, having a house, having the kids. And I was really like on this kind of railroad that was not really my own decision, but maybe something that I decided to make because I realized around 28 years old that I have everything I wanted. I have now a next step they proposed me is to be the director of the plant of a manufacturer producing watch cases for Richmond Group. So a very good position with 400 people under my responsibility and a very big salary. I was already doing pretty good, but that was the next step. I had a very nice house in Switzerland with a 360, 180 view on the Alps and the lakes. Beautiful girlfriend. Every weekend I was skydiving anywhere in the world or doing mountain bike or doing ski or motorbike. I had big bikes in my garage, nice cars in my garage. The life, the stereotype of what you dream for as a teenager, especially as a teenager, I didn't have much money. It was easy. It's not easy to pay for my own study. Like really, it was a hard time. So when I get there, I thought life would be amazing actually. And the first time I actually looked back and stepped back and I realized that, okay, I have pretty much everything I always was running after and it feels okay, just not so good at the end. So I had a really, let's say, I wouldn't call a mental breakdown, but a lot of thoughts, so many thoughts for a few months. I stopped working. I decided to build a house full time myself, and this time alone gave me so much time to think that I was just zooming out and understanding that at some point all the choices I made until now was not for myself and to find my life and the way I like. Like I say this now from the beginning of the talk, but I got aware of that for the first time I was 28. So then what is for me who I am? Like big questions coming. Okay, how to do with that? Like really who I am to the core. Do I like to be outside? Do I like to be inside? Do I like water? Do I like really I crash the system to the bottom and try to get to know myself again. And from this moment, I focused on myself. So naturally, I came back to sports because this is what I really enjoyed when I come back to outdoors. But I kept the coaching part. As a manager, I realized that I really enjoy to be behind the people to help them, support them to grow, to understand new stuff, to develop new skills. So I try to put that together, find a way to make it happen. And at this time, I was skydiving a lot, and it looked like skydiving coaching could be a good path. So I decided to put pretty much all the money from the house I sold into my training, and I got pretty good at it. And then ever since,
So how many jumps have you got now? Just for people.
Now it's 7,500.
Cool.
Somewhere
You've been
there.
jumping for what, 20 years?
13, 14, 13, 13, 14, 14 years. 14 years.
Cool.
Yeah. And so skydiving coach was the first step. And then a few years later, I discovered freediving and I fell in love with freediving. Like I just went in Egypt for 7 months, trained with the best, diving every single day, twice a day, and went to all the certificates and become an instructor. So I began also to teach freediving. A few years later, I decided that I want to become tunnel instructor. So I pushed on this side and also trained pretty much with the best people in the world and become good enough so I can teach people. And
While you were on this journey, I mean, we've spoken about this in the past, and while you were finding yourself, you went off and went to Thailand and started
uh,
doing meditation, and that was quite an interesting story, and yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
how you can go from one extreme right to the other extreme. So tell us a bit about that.
so yeah, I was more now focused on the, let's say, the professional side, but on the other side, so when I decided to change my life when I was 28, I broke up with my girlfriend. We were almost 10 years together. And yeah, ever since every relationship I had, like I could feel I'm not good for the people around me. And I couldn't really put the finger on why I hurt the people around me, especially my partner. And after a breakup with a extraordinary woman that I hurt a lot, she gave me a lot of truth about myself, and she called me manipulative, she called me liar, and I had to look at myself for real, and she was actually right. And I hated it. I really hated to see myself this way. I was not honest with myself so far. I was just in my thought process and understanding that whatever comes from within is me and therefore it's true. And yeah, it put a very big question mark on my values and who I am at the core. Because I was now focusing on what I want, what I like, what I want to do in life. But I didn't realize that if I want to have a really good life, I need also to look at myself properly and to have a good me inside. And yeah, this woman really showed me that inside I'm like rotten, not good. And whatever brought me there,
What a big journey that is to kind of it's just such a
that's
deep
fucked
journey.
up, huh? That's the first time she began to talk to me about this kind of stuff. I was in denial, complete denial. And love made me look at it carefully. And when I look at it carefully, I feel like puking, really. I feel disgusted by myself. Horrible. I feel like, well, how the fuck can I be this kind of person? I understand now why I hurt people around me. And yeah, so that was a very big shock. And then at the same time, when I realized that, we decided with this woman to go to Thailand. And after a few weeks, we break up. And I'm there in Thailand, completely heartbroken, emotionally very in a weird spot where I hate myself. And I begin to meet people that are going to this kind of a Vipassana retreat. I had fucking no clue what the fuck is this. And I go there.
For the people that don't know, what is a Vipassana retreat?
Say again?
For the people that don't know, what is a Vipassana retreat?
So basically, I see those people and they say, oh, yeah, it's meditation, you should try. And I see those people coming in and out from those temples for meditation. And I see the way they are very different before and after. And really, for some of them, the shock is really it's very strong. I see different person and I like much more the person I see after. And I got to talk with one of them for hours about what's happening there and what is meditation. Okay, I decide to go. And what's happening there is basically you have a daily schedule beginning at maybe 4 a.m. or 3:30, which is mostly based on meditation and learning about Buddhism. I discovered Buddhism at this time, actually. And so you wake up at 4, you meditate, then you're gonna eat. It's vegetarian food. Then you're gonna meditate again. Then you're gonna eat again around 11. And this is the last meal of the day. You're gonna fast until the next day at 5 a.m. And the rest of the day, you're just gonna meditate. And you have one session where you can talk about what you're going through because you're going through a lot. And also, you're gonna learn a little bit about where this meditation technique come from. And mainly it's about the Dharma, it's about the story of Buddha and what he understood of life and his path to end suffering. So first time after 3 or 4 days in this temple, I realized, and that will change the rest of my life, I am not my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like this thing, this voice that is inside of myself that I've heard and thought it was me for so many years, 29 years, 30 years, is actually not me. And I can be the witness of what she's doing in there, and I have no control upon it, at least for a big part. And it has spontaneous behaviors that sometimes are not in line with my values, not in line with what I want for my life. And suddenly there is this deep phase. I don't know how if I can say that. There is this moment where I see there is there is my body, there is this thing that creates thoughts, and there is myself down there, and I can watch this show happening. And for me, it's completely changing everything, because from this moment, whatever comes from inside is actually questionable. I don't need to give credit to it. I can challenge it. I can question it. I can see if I agree with it or not. So suddenly, again, I'm losing myself. The fuck, who I am again? What is happening? So quickly, I meet some people, very nice people, and monks especially, that would guide me into finding core values to define who I want to be, what kind of person I want to be, and put it into very simple words. And always, when I don't know who I am, I can always come back to this core that I took time to elaborate and choose to see if my thoughts, my thought process, my ideas are in line or not with this thing. So it came down to very simple things for me: is love, kindness, respect, and intensity. Maybe the four core values or words that are driving my life ever since. And so when the thought process is happening, now that I know that it's not me, I can just question, okay, is it in line with this or not? And if it's in line with this, okay, let's go see what's there. Or maybe I have something better to do right now because the life is happening around me and I don't want to go there. Or maybe this is not in line with this core value and I have really no time to waste going through the thoughts and let them generating emotion and change the way I perceive life or so.
Yeah. And I love the way that, we've spoken quite a lot about this over the years. And I love the way that you came out of the corporate kind of real grind, had to do so much work on yourself. Yeah. And you come out the other side. And I obviously only met you on the other side of that journey. And those values that you talk about really resonate. That's how you look at yourself. And I quite often remember seeing you kind of getting a bit irritated with the world because your mind works faster than so many people's, and then you have to stop and go and do some meditation. And so then I'm going to move on a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about, we met a few years ago. You were running your first wind tunnel and freediving camp, and we'd met before that. We did an event before that, and a few years before. And we chatted on Facebook, and he said, "Oh, I want to run this event where it's a free diving event and a tunnel camp. So there's two different things. So you're up in the air and you're down below the water." And one of the things that I think people don't understand with all this extreme sport stuff is it's not about extreme. It's not about the adrenaline. It's not. Yeah, this is not what. Once you're in, the first couple of times for sure it is. Yeah, but for me, it's about finding the peace. It's about finding that, staying in the now, because we live in the past and we live in the future so much that if we can live in the now, it just gives us so much more power in life and so much more ability to see who we are and what we want to do. And this is the problem, I think, with so many business owners at the moment, is that they're so busy worrying about what's going to happen in the future and what they've done in the past or haven't done in the past, that they forget to live now. So we got together on this course, and that was, for me, was eye-opening. The free diving, I've done scuba diving. I've done lots of scuba diving. Yeah, I was a scuba diving instructor in South Africa. I've done lots of skydiving, and just putting these two things together, you added something else to that, which was the exercise in the morning and the meditation. And that was quite profound, because you don't see that in other skydiving coaching, freediving coaching. It's just not as prevalent. And since then, we've gone through this journey, and I've watched you move forward from this. And you're now going into business coaching. You're going to talking to businesses at seminars, and you've had a few interesting experiences with that. And I'm thinking particularly about your dark experiences, how to go into dark retreats. And so tell us a bit about where you think you're going to be, how you're going to move forward with stuff, and just what that might look like as you go forward.
So maybe I would just like to share how it began, really, all of that, because it's come from freediving. So at some point, I have those skills. I can teach freediving, I can teach skydiving, and I can teach wind tunnel. And I'm trying to play with those stuff. And randomly, I think, okay, how to bring the niche that I have with skydivers into freediving. How can I bring this? How can I bring those people inside freediving? So I said, okay, maybe we can try just to organize an event where we mix them together and try to see how it feels. And when I begin to create the event, I begin to realize that, okay, actually it makes a lot of sense for many things. And I can just add a little bit of mindfulness, body care, mind care. And this thing would be just super powerful to take care of yourself and understand new stuff about yourself. It's just an idea. It feels okay. It makes sense. I had no idea how powerful this could be. You were actually with Maya, the first guinea pigs of this retreat camp or so. And this is when I realized how powerful this thing is, for several reasons. The trigger was freediving. Definitely, when you skydive or you do tunnel flying, you have this adrenaline that's anchor you into the present moment. Because of this survival instinct, you really focus on what you're doing, and there is no past, there is no future, there is only right now. And that's why, in my opinion, so many people get addicted to skydiving, tunnel flying. It's because from the moment you open the door, you jump out of the plane, or you enter the tunnel, your life just disappear in your mind. Your thoughts are quiet, and you're just fully immersed in the experience of life, the present. And that was very also relevant from what I've done into meditation center, where I spent weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, no talking, meditating 10 hours a day, just to fucking stay anchored in the present as much as I can. And that brings me so much joy and so much happiness. So we are trying to do this like with adrenaline in some sports. And then there is freediving coming in my life. And I realized that, okay, freediving is another level, because for sure you need to stay in the present, because if you let your mind speak, what your mind is talking is, you're gonna die, get up, stop going down, you don't have enough oxygen, you're gonna die. So if you listen to this, you have never a possibility, first of all, to enjoy what you're doing, and second of all, to go anywhere down, because you're just freaking out, just stressed, and you don't just want to go up and take some air. So you need to learn how to not listen to the mind and anchor yourself in the present on your own without the adrenaline. So that's the very big difference of those two sports. Is one, adrenaline is bringing you there. So the action of skydiving is actually by itself bringing you into the present. So you have very short-term effects of this present anchor. And freediving, you need to find some levers to do it yourself. It's another game, because when you're underwater and your brain tells you you're gonna die, you don't have enough oxygen, it's actually okay. You can give him a lot of credits because you are underwater, you are not breathing, and there is a lot of water above you before you get to the surface. So you need to find your own way to make it quiet, to make it calm, to make it feel it's gonna be all right, and to anchor yourself into what you feel and your technique and the feeling you have on your body, the water, your equalization, your relaxation. Freediving is 90% about relaxation. So you just focus on getting more relaxed as your brain is telling you you're going to die. So that's very powerful. And it was very powerful when I discovered this for myself. And when I put the first student in the water and I realized that when they go through this process, they actually go to the core of who they are inside of them. And when I get to the surface, with simple question on what happened to you down there, what was your voice telling you, what was how the voice was talking to you, was it image, was it a sound, was it talking, was it screaming, what was it happening, and how were you perceiving this, and how did you react to that? Already I could see that the people for the first time realized that inside of themselves there are things happening that they don't want, they disagree, and there is already a fracture happening. So they go deep down in themselves and they can feel this fracture happening where they want to do something, they want to go down, they want to keep relaxed themselves, and they can't because of this voice talking. But the thing is, outside of the water, we prepare ourselves also, and we know what we're able to do. If I know I'm able to hold my breath for 5 minutes, let's say, or let's say just 1 minute, 1 minute allow me to go to maybe 20 to 30 meters down. So after 5 meter or 10 meter, if I'm freaking out, I know it's a nonsense. So my brain is talking it like it's true. I'm gonna die, and it's talking so loud and so strong, like it's real. But fuck, I've been down there for 10 seconds. I know it's not true. And suddenly I can just like separate me and this voice and try to come back to the present and not listening to the thought process. And it turned out teaching these events one after another that it triggered a lot of really interesting reaction into inside people's. And they begin to question things that they've been believing for their entire life. And mostly the people coming to my camps, this kind of camp, they have high responsibility jobs because it's not a cheap camp. So you need to be able to afford it. And most of the people that need to be able, can afford it, they actually have a very high position in companies, or they have a really good job, they're entrepreneurs, or they make a lot of money with themselves, and they see the interest of calming the mind because they have super active mind. They are very smart people. And yeah, it was so interesting to see those people getting out of the water, and you question with very simple question: how did you feel? What was the voice talking? How did you respond? Do you believe that voice? Do you think that you should do that or not? And suddenly, like, people even very strong, sometimes like boss of hundreds or thousands of people, suddenly like break into pieces because they see that inside there is something that is so naturally wrong, and they've been holding onto it for their entire life. So I got pretty passionate about that because it was so interesting to see, and also so interesting to have feedbacks few days, weeks, months, years after this camp, where people tell me, okay, it was a turn in my life. It was a turn in my life, and I never got back to the same road because now I know. First, we teach how to take care of the body, we teach how to take care of the mind, and we need to teach how to get stronger with that. And suddenly, it's a new set of tools that, if you use them daily, like, yeah, you become a superstar in many ways. So yeah, from that I decided that I want to do more of that. I want to give more of that, and I try to decide to create a package of tools like I can use without the tunnel, indoor skydiving, without the free dive, without the skydive, and I can just train people how to discover the stuff and train those skills to become stronger and have better life. And this is where I got in touch with randomly. Life brought those people to me. Some people that are very high position in big corporate groups. And last year I began to have seminars with directors of big companies, like worldwide companies, leaders in their field, about how to manage your emotion, how to get more performance as a director, because you get more performance with your mind, with your emotion, you handle yourself better, you have better understanding, and you can also be more clear on what you're doing. This is also coming back to Vipassana, which means see the things the way they really are, because you detach yourself from this thought process that generates emotion and see through a filter, and you see the things the way they clearly are, the way they really are, and then you can take better decisions and be more performant. So yeah, I think this is pretty much the way it went. And now seeing the result with those big guys, big directors that just come to see me as a hippie talking about meditation and mindfulness, and they don't really know what they're doing here, but the HR paid for that, so they are here. And then they hire me for private coaching after the seminar, because they understand that how powerful it is, and it's not just a hippie thing. It makes a lot of sense because there is science behind, and they could experience it. Yeah, it gives me more motivation to go further. And the next step will be conferences. That's this year. I'm slowing down on skydiving, freediving, tunnel flying parts. And from next year, I will, in the end of the year already, I will take a few months off, maybe 6 months or 1 year off, to just calm myself down, take a little bit step back, take care of myself properly, so I can elaborate something very cool and make a cool conference that will help, hopefully, thousands, hundreds, thousands of people to have better life.
And that's it, right? That's one of the things that drew me to you. You were living 6 months in Thailand and 6 months in Poland, and you were moving around and you found a rhythm for yourself that worked for you. And that's something that so few of us actually get to. There's a point where it doesn't matter if you're making £200,000 a year. It doesn't matter if have everything you need in a material sense. But if you can't feel peace within yourself, what's the point, right? Well, what is the point? And what you're aiming to do and what your vision is, I think, is kind of so important that people actually come back to themselves, just be themselves, right? Really be powerful, because that's where the power comes. And to me, it doesn't matter if yeah, I've seen it so many times. I've seen people that come in that are a high position people, and once they fall off of that ladder, they don't want to do that anymore, and then they go and do something entirely different, and they become high performing people again in a different sphere. Yeah, and after they found themselves, but then they can do it from a place of honesty and authenticity. Yeah, and that's just so powerful, right? When you bring the authenticity to it. So you're talking to these high performers now. You're talking to these performing people. What would you think, if we wrap up shortly? What would you think you would say to them to do, even not necessarily go skydiving or freediving? How could people start thinking about themselves? How could people start literally just talking to brain and saying, "Listen, I don't necessarily believe everything that's happening in my head."
I would take the easiest and most simple step, or for me would be just start with the meditation, because this is in my opinion, the best way to get to know yourself, because you're actually doing nothing, and you try to stay anchored in the present with something that is so boring. You watch your breath. It's just your belly rising and falling. Like, for your mind, this is the most boring stuff ever. So this is the best moment for him to come up with ideas for tomorrow, memories from yesterday, from 10 years ago, the cat I had when I was a kid, the food I'm going to eat tonight. And then you can observe what's happening in your head spontaneously. And you get to know what's happening in your head, let's say for 20 minutes, which is a very good sample of what's going to happen during your whole day. So by focusing on your breath, just like on this movement on your belly, for instance, or on the airflow in your nostrils, you just try to stay with it, and you will not manage to do it. I mean, when I meditate, if I can manage to do it for 3 seconds, it's like already a win. What's going to happen is after 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, there is a thought will come. Whatever it is, it will arise by itself. It will come. And then the exercise is just to see what it is, and come back to your breath. And that's it. And try to see what it is as soon as you can, as early as possible in the thought process. So you can see, let's say in 20 minutes, which is the minimum I recommend. For sure, if you start, you can start 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but try to reach 20 as quick as you can. You will see then during those 20 minutes, what kind of topic is coming all the time. What kind of topic is coming all the time? Let's say one topic is coming, it's like about the future, it's about your work, it's about your wife, it's about your kids, whatever it is. You can see that if it's coming, let's say 10 times in those 20 minutes, it means it's coming 30 times per hour. It means during your day, it's a 10-hour day, it's 300 times. If this topic is a topic related to something you worry about, then every time your brain have the thought coming to it and you get aware or not of it, your brain gets aware of it. Yes, for sure. You might not be aware of it because it's happening a little bit in the background. Your brain will react to it. Okay, it's something to worry about. So it will generate some chemicals that are associated to this kind of emotion. Oh, I worry, I'm scared or something. And then your body suddenly will generate chemicals that are here just to put you in a fight or flight mode. Basically, your breath will change a little bit more to the chest. You breathe a little bit more shallow. Maybe some tension happen in your hand, in your neck. Your digestive system maybe cramp a little bit, whatever is happening. And if it's happening just a tiny bit, but 300 times a day after day, like it's destroying you. So sitting down, watching yourself, watching the thought process happening, but not letting be and just go in your thoughts. Just watch what is arising, coming back to the present. Watch what's arising, coming back to the present. You get to understand very quickly what's arising spontaneously. And once you have the awareness through more meditation and different kind of meditation, you can actually learn how to just manage this. So if something is arising constantly in a certain way, and this is not something that you like because it's like fear and you know it's destroying your body, your stomach, your skin, whatever is happening, you can program yourself in a different way. So it doesn't arise as fear, but it arises as love or compassion. If I take an example for myself, I had a lot of anger I was not aware of. And when I went out of maybe the third retreat or the fourth retreat I've done, it was a 3-week retreat. I completely see how angry I was at the world. A guy sit next to me and he's talking shit to the waitress. And the waitress, I know her, she's a friend and she's so kind. She's putting all her heart in what she's doing all the time. And the guy is treating her like garbage. Inside of me at this moment, just, I can feel this is the voice screaming. Tell him something. If he talk again like this, just stand up and tell him how piece of shit. He gave him a fucking lesson. And wow, this is happening inside of me. I'm just having my breakfast and it's horrible. And so then I can just try to see, okay, but this guy may be behaving this way because he has a shit life. Of course, if he behaves like this, his life is shit. So he doesn't need me to give him a lesson. He needs a hug. I don't know, something like this. And I began to rewire my anger to compassion. So now when see someone behaving like shit, it doesn't mean I accept this. But the first thing that arises is compassion. And this compassion makes me good. I don't feel stressed anymore. I don't have this voice coming for the next 3 hours where I think what I should have said to this guy so he stopped behaving this way. So you can rewire yourself. So first you sit, you get to know yourself, then you try to see what's you want to work with according to your own values. You decide. No one will tell you what you should work on or not and how you should work on it. For sure you can get inspired, but it's only you can decide that. And then you can try to rewire yourself through meditation and daily action throughout the day. Once you meditate, you get more aware of your thought process. And once you get more aware of your thought process throughout the day, you also get more aware of your thought process. And now every occurrence of the thought that you say, let's say you don't want because they are not in line with your values or so, you can just see them and work on them straight away and rewire them at the moment. So this can have a lot of impact in so many things for sure. I don't know if it answered really much the question you were asking, but
No, that's cool. Yeah, that was very insightful. So
sitting in
go
silence
for
and watching your breath, watching your thought, not getting with them, just watching the occurrence of them arising is the best way to start. Also, breathing exercise will help a lot because everyone needs to relax a little bit, breathe with the belly, and use its diaphragm to breathe for so many reasons. You can Google all the benefits of that. And that's a very cool start. Belly breathing and meditation, just this is just already like a big opening door to so many things.
Mhm. So you're going to take a bit of, you're in Seville at the moment, you're going to go skydiving after this. You're
Yes.
doing some coaching and you're going to take a bit of a break. But how can people get hold of you if they want to? What way? I'll put your contact details on, maybe your LinkedIn profile. But if people like what they've heard here, how can they get hold of you and what can they expect from you in the future?
Of course, I do mostly one-to-one, actually. It's like kind of therapies, let's say, but I don't like to see people long time. I like to give them a set of tools, teach them how to use it, and help them understand how they can use it for themselves. And then they go. Usually they want to call me again, but I don't want. The point is that we do 5 sessions or so, and then it's finished. You have your set of tools, you can use it, and you can make yourself a better life. And I do also seminars for companies where we take the general vision of the strategy, okay, whatever, 3 years, 5 years, and then we decline this vision into shorter goals that we can achieve as individuals. And to reach those goals, I try to provide a set of tools to enhance performance in order to participate to this strategy, like for big guys or middle management.
Well, thank you very much, Amuary. That was awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. And we will be in touch and speaking soon, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, Roy. Everything also that you said during this talk was interesting. I fully agree, and it's a good reminder also for me to listen to talk to you. I follow you ever since you began this journey on self-care, and it's very inspiring. So I'm really happy to be here with you today and to listen to you, and I will keep following your adventures.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for tuning into Power Movers. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or ideas for future episodes. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, or drop me an email at roy@allthepower.co.uk. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, the content in this podcast is for informational purposes only. Always consult a qualified coach or professional before making significant decisions. Until next time, keep moving forward, stay inspired, and live the life you love. Thanks for listening.